Say it again.
How does a woman become your wife?
Right now, as the time we're in,
No, you can't do that because you just
man.
you
Yeah,
just you
no,
you just
no.
you just
We're
use
going
Jesus.
but I'm using what we do now. You said, how does a
No, you
woman
use the
become a
well.
wife?
Here's the problem with that, right? You use the Bible, now you want to hop out of it. You in it now.
I'm using the Bible for the intention of lust and adultery. We were talking
But now
about
you but
ways
then so you
of
have to
adultery.
continue to use the Bible, right? Continue to use it when you start talking about sex, right? So how does she become your wife?
Is that man acquires that woman, they're betrothed, they have consummated the marriage, and that is their marriage.
What's consummation?
That is the sexual interaction of that man coming to that woman, and they become a man and wife.
So here's
right, because I don't think that men can start.
Just a quick correction on that, right? Oftentimes you're looking for sex when you're pursuing women, then you meet one that you have an affinity for outside of just the sex, right? And then that relationship escalates. Let's say a man were to step out, there's a compartmentalization that happens, right? Because you already tied your emotion to that one woman that you chose already.
I don't believe in compartmentalization totally, because you're still you're making a conscious choice. Like you said, I'm gonna put her over here. So you're still moving with an intention to go pursue another Kit Kat. You know what I'm saying? So I know you just emotionally sticking it to your wife. And I know you guys always say that, but in the Bible, it says if a man looks upon a woman to lust after her, he already committed adultery in the heart. So you don't even, that compartmentalization, you already committed adultery. And
did you say lust?
Yeah, that's what's driving you to that woman, right?
Okay, so that's compartmentalization, right? So when Jesus is using hyperbole to illustrate his point in Matthew 5, he's saying lust, which is the point, right?
It's lust, but
wait, you're talking while I'm talking, right? That's an issue. So if you're saying lust, right, that's exactly what I'm saying. She's been compartmentalized for sex. Hence why Jesus says lust. He don't say love, affection, wife. He don't say that. He says lust, particularly.
Yeah, but still the end result is adultery, which you have committed in his
not,
sight,
though.
and you'll be judged for it. So
it's not though. It's not though, right?
It is.
No. So if you read the law, what is adultery in the law?
It's a sex outside of a covenantal marriage.
No, what's adultery in the law? And this is why I really want y'all to
make it clear.
Let's just have the conversation, right? So adultery is sleeping with another man's wife, right? And I did streams on this, just breaking it down, right? But it says that verbatim, so because men had several wives, and you consummate marriage with sex. So that's how we know just having sex with a woman couldn't just be adultery, right? So that's why we just got to make sure we understand the scripts.
Okay, so if you're saying just having sex with her wouldn't be constituted as adultery, your intention for her to have her in that position is, which is what I said in the first place.
Well, give me book, chapter, verse.
I don't have the chapter verse, but I know that it does say in the Bible. If you want me to pause, I can pause and look for it, but I don't have it at the moment. But I know that it says if a man looks upon a woman to lust after her, he has committed adultery in his heart already.
Yeah, I understand. I already gave you the chapter, right? Mm-hmm. Matthew 5, but Jesus is illustrating something, right? And I want y'all to, and there's a misunderstanding there, right? So men still, even after Jesus left, still had multiple wives.
It's not about that. We're talking about cheating. Those men weren't we're not talking about men and wives. We're talking about having sex with a woman, not a wife. That's where we have to make the delineation.
Yeah,
that's not your wife. So you participating in that act with her.
How does a woman become your wife?
Say it again.
How does a woman become your wife?
Right now, as the time we're in.
No, you can't do that because you just use Jesus.
But I'm using what we do now. You said, how does a
you use here's the problem with that, right? You use the Bible, now you want to hop out of it. You in it now.
I'm using the Bible for the intention of lust and adultery. We were talking
about. But then so you have to continue to use the Bible, right? Continue to use it when you start talking about sex, right? So how does she become your wife?
Is that man acquires that woman, they're betrothed, they have consummated the marriage, and that is their marriage.
What's consummation?
That is the sexual interaction of that man coming to that woman, and they become man and wife.
So here's what's key, right? Mm-hmm. Sex can't be just the only thing that makes it cheating or adultery, right? Because you can acquire other wives, and you have to consummate those marriages with sex. Also, there's women in the Bible who gave their handmaids to their husbands, and God praised them for it.
Who?
Leah. Genesis 30.
You praised her?
Yes.
How?
She was barren, and she gave her handmaid to her husband, and she bare him some sons, right? Then Jacob lay with her, and she had a baby after she was barren because God gave her hire. He showed her favor because she gave her handmaid to her husband.
Well, okay, that's a blessing from God. Yes, God blesses
I know, that's what I said.
all wombs. Okay, but that's not because of them. That's her petition that she wanted him to open up a womb so she can give her husband a son. That has nothing to do.
No.
We know that she
listen to what I told you.
Listen to what I told you.
Listen to what I told you. Listen to what I told you
That's still a
first.
blessing from God.
Listen to what I told you.
But going back to
No. This is the Bible now, right? And you didn't have to do this, but you opened it.
No, I'm not
right?
talking about.
So
I'm
now
just talking
it's
about
very important.
But
I know this is the one thing I don't really let people just skirt, right? So I have to make sure it's clear.
Go ahead, because I don't.
So again, right? Genesis 30.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you read it thoroughly, right? Okay. She was given favor from the Most High by giving her handmaid to her husband because she couldn't have any more babies for him. You obviously know the story of Sarah and Hagar, right?
Yeah.
Who offered Hagar to Abraham?
That was Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Because she outstepped and doubted that she wouldn't be able to have a child.
What happened with Ishmael when he was born?
It was promised that she would have one, but she doubted and within herself and said,
and what happened to Ishmael? And what happened to Ishmael?
And I'm going to give the handmaiden because she wanted her husband to have a son.
Did she still have her baby?
Yes, she did.
What happened to Ishmael?
Ishmael wasn't blessed. And the covenant was with the son Isaac.
Ishmael wasn't blessed?
No.
Are you sure? Okay, so you're saying Ishmael didn't receive a blessing?
He received covering, but not the blessing. The blessing was not.
Ishmael multiplied, right? He was sent off. Yeah, that was his blessing. You know that, right?
That was a blessing, but that's not the promise. We want the promise.
Okay, but you got to listen to your words, right? He was blessed. He didn't receive the covenant.
Yeah, that's what's the most important thing. So we want.
But you said he wasn't blessed, right? So you can see that he was blessed.
Yeah, God took care.
I just want to make sure that we be clear on this,
Yes,
on what we're saying. Even after Jesus dies, Paul makes a recommendation to the leaders of the church in Timothy 3. He recommends to them that they have one wife, right? Because he wants them to focus because they have a congregation. You see, but he makes that recommendation because men have several wives.
This recommendation to have one wife. If a woman,
no. That's the problem. See, wife school, you keep jumping in, right? That's not what I said.
You're bringing it to this whole genealogy. All I was saying was reiterating.
But you can't just all I say according to the Bible, right?
No,
and also
you
just mischaracterized what I said, though.
The topic
you just mischaracterized what I said, though.
Okay.
So what did I say about Timothy 3 specifically?
No. What you was going about with all this other stuff.
No, I said Timothy 3. I said Timothy 3, right?
I'm not talking about what makes a wife.
I said Timothy 3, right? Specifically, I said the leaders of the church, he recommended that they have one wife. He didn't recommend that men have one wife.
Well, we're not talking about that.
Well, I'm just showing you an illustration of the New Testament that the men have more than one wife. With me, they're having sex with multiple women.
But we weren't talking about that. That's all I was saying.
I don't know.
I'm just saying that we were talking about what is going to be tolerated and what categorizes as cheating. That's where we were at. And all I was saying that you had talked about compartmentalization, and I said I didn't agree with that because everything is mainly a choice. It's just that your intention and what usually influences our actions. So if you're looking on a woman to lust after her in your heart, as we were talking about people that hang around in the environment, your work wife, it's most likely going to go to an affair because you're looking at that woman to lust after her. That's all I was saying.
Okay, so let's stick on lust, right? Let's just keep it secular, because when you start talking about my mans and them, then I gotta correct it. So if you're saying lust, right, you think lust is more than just a sexual attraction to that woman?
I think it's a multi-layered thing where it can start off sexual and then the beauty and then the admiration of that woman. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a multi-layered thing. I don't think it's just sex. It could be desire. It doesn't have to be like sex, like, oh, she makes me feel like this way. And okay, now that's inciting something for me to connect with this woman, So now I have to have her. I think it's actions that lead up to.
I think lust is a one-off. it's a one-off thing. But if you continually go back to that same person or whatever like that, that's a freaking relationship.
But isn't that sex? Like, to me, lust is tied to physical attraction. Like, because to me, I don't think men ever start with emotional connections. I don't think they ever start. So like, and even wanting to speak to women or be their friend is based off of how they look. And then they come off to you. Then they come off to you like they want to be your friend. But like Hamp always says, like, niggas don't want to be your friend. Like, you don't got no friends. Because at the end of the day, if you call one of them up and be like, hey, like, come over, they coming. So it's never just the emotional aspect of it first. It's always they want to have sex with you first. So if you're cheating, I don't think you can emotionally cheat, because you would have to had sex with somebody. As men, I believe that you would have to had sex with somebody to feel that deep in your emotional connection, because men are so one-track minded that once they see you and they be like, hey, I want to sleep with this girl, that's all they're going to think about until it happens. So they're going to talk to you a certain way, do certain things until it happens. And then from there, be like, oh, okay, like, she's pretty cool. But that's what they're going to always think about, is the fact they want to fuck you.
That's it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, now, Kyle, I just want to offer this, right? So, per the definition of lust, is probably one of the most simple definitions. Very strong sexual desire. That's it. They don't got like you know how to be having like A, B, C, D. It's just like, that's it. That's lust.